Hey, welcome back to 65 Drums. My name's Justin. So here's a question that never really goes away. Can you use Bluetooth headphones or other kinds of wireless headphones with electronic drums? This seems like a perfect match because you get the noise cancellation blocking out the sound of you hitting the pads, a cable isn't weighing you down and you're not accidentally stepping on it all the time, and plus, we know that lag-free audio is technically possible because everybody uses wireless stage packs when they're playing live. I mean, I've used them, you've probably used them, they work incredibly well. So today, we're going to take a look and see which kinds of wireless headphones, different categories of them, will have the most latency, which ones have the least amount of latency, and we're also going to talk about just a stupid, simple little thing that you can do to wired headphones to make them less annoying and actually make your life better. That's coming up. But first, today's video is brought to you by EdrumCenter.com. This is one of the very few drum stores that just focuses on electronic drums. Go check out the discount link in the description below to save some money today. Okay, so the villain of today's story is latency. Latency is that time measured in milliseconds between you hitting a drum and hearing a sound. According to the audio company PreSonus, 12 to 15 milliseconds is when you can feel it, and 20 to 30 milliseconds is when it becomes audible. Round-trip latency under 12 milliseconds is definitely best practice. The first link in the latency chain will be your drum module. Most of them have between 3 to 8 milliseconds of latency. Because some companies feel deep in their bones the number needs to be sub 5, and other companies couldn't care less as long as it doesn't reach audible levels. So here's a website that breaks it all down, along with a tool for testing your module if you want all the nerdy details. Now, assuming that you're going to use the built-in sounds and you're not going to use drum software, the second link in the latency chain will be your headphones. And it turns out wireless headphones, they come in a bunch of different categories because they use different ways to transmit the audio. Let's start with Bluetooth, because that's what you probably own. All you need to do to make this work is a little Bluetooth transmitter. You can buy them for like 15 bucks. Plug this into your headphone jack, pair it to your headphones, and you're done. So anyway, I've used this wireless transmitter with these headphones in Bluetooth mode with my electronic drums. And my personal experience has been terrible. Most Bluetooth headphones, they're hitting around 30 to 40 milliseconds of latency. And a few unicorn Bluetooth headphones can get all the way down in sub 20, like 18 is the lowest number I've seen. But unfortunately, even that number is still too high for drumming. So as of Bluetooth 5.4, I wouldn't recommend this kind of headphone for electronic drums. The second most popular type of wireless headphone are the 2.4 gigahertz headphones. These are sometimes called, Wi-Fi headphones online or gaming headphones, because that's usually what these are branded and sold as. So far, I've tried to use 3 of these with my electronic drums. One of them I had to put out of the running because the USB transmitter was coded to only work with Xbox, but I did get Turtle Beach and Razer headphones to pair up. Now, I couldn't get the USB transmitter to work with my TD30 module directly, but I used drum software for my actual sounds, so I was able to plug these directly into my MacBook and then select the audio output to be the headphones. The experience was terrible on Turtle Beach, horrible latency, so much so that it made me suspicious of my Call of Duty KD numbers, but I got much better results from Razer. Not that I'm saying that I would go buy those exact headphones, but if I had to, I could force myself to live with them. This category of headphone can hit incredibly low latencies in some rare cases, with Yamaha leading the pack. But unfortunately, there's also a ton of trash out there, so be careful. You can't buy a random pair of low latency headphones just because it says that on the box and because it happens to be a gaming headphone. The next type is RF headphones. These use radio frequency to transmit the audio. They're really easy to spot because they use a dock that broadcasts the sound, a tiny little radio tower just for you. The next kind of wireless is IR headphones. This stands for infrared. You need line of sight to make these to work, and they transfer audio via light. They're like the headphone version of a TV remote because they work on similar principles. And for some reason, they're popular with car manufacturers. Aside from the trashy $50 ones you can buy on Amazon in some very niche situations, these seem to have gone the way of the dodo. Alright, so those are the main categories of wireless headphones. Some categories do have higher or lower potential than others. Right now, Bluetooth is a lost cause, but some RF and some 2.4 gigahertz headphones can be the answer. But you have to be incredibly careful and check out the individual headphone latency numbers before buying anything. One headphone really stands out, and that's the Yamaha YHWL500s. According to MusicRadar.com and according to Yamaha themselves, they get 4 milliseconds of latency, and they're using 2.4 gigahertz to transmit the sound. But they're significantly lower latency than every other headphone I've tried that uses that frequency band. So shout out to the viewer who reminded me these exist. I walked past these at NAMM and I never tried them out, and I kind of forgot about them while I was making the original version of this video. I know that some people will probably bring up the AI headphones, but those sit at 60 milliseconds of latency, and when you compare that against Yamaha's 4 millisecond number, it doesn't look that amazing to me. But this video isn't about recommending individual headphone brands, it's more about whether or not wireless is possible at all. And the answer to that question is definitely yes, but you have to be careful in what you're buying. You got to make sure you know how much latency the headphones you're looking at have, and then you have to add in your module latency and make sure that total number is going to be below what's audible. That being said, I've got a few other ideas you might find useful outside of getting a totally new pair of headphones. If you got some nice Bluetooth headphones that you like and you spent $300 on them, you can use them in wired mode. So these are Sony's, and they actually have a headphone jack on the side, and they come with an aux cable in the box. So plug them in, now you're using them with no latency. The only downside is that I've done this, and I've found that they sound better in Bluetooth mode, because I think there's like EQ applied to these, so they kind of make them sound a little bit better than they really are in raw form. But technically, this is a way to get around the latency problem. Now here's one final alternative that could make your life way better. Instead of spending a bunch of money on a fancy transmitter or purpose-built low latency headphones, what I would probably do for most people is just get a headphone extension cable. A lot of people don't like headphone cables because they're in the way or they're not short enough. So if you want to be able to stand up from your drum set, walk across the room to get a glass of water and come back, a headphone extension cable, these cost $10. All you need is a stereo female to male cable. Plug this in as the middleman between your module and your headphones, and this gives you way more reach around the room. Also, if you're annoyed about the cable like getting in your way, run the cable down your back instead of in front of you, and that should sort of eliminate that problem. Let me end with a little mini rant about why I think that wired headphones are still the GOAT. Yes, I do realize you may have to buy a little extension cable so the cable isn't in your way. You may still step on it, whatever. But at the end of the day, wired headphones cost so much less. You don't have to charge them. There's no weird niche problems like melting your charging input. For some reason, this happened on my Sonys. I don't know why. Just like wired headphones, they're so much simpler, and you can actually purchase them not based on some spreadsheet of latency numbers. You instead buy them because they look cool, they fit nice, and they sound good. You can buy based on those reasons instead of some sort of scientific latency reading. So that's the kind of world I want to live in. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.